Unfortunately, there's so many women out here that love toxic traits, and it brings so much excitement to their life. And toxic behaviors compared to, like, some calming healthy relationships or dynamics are too boring for a lot of females out here. Unfortunately, if you end up being with one of these women, you're going to be drained the f out, and that's for real, for real. So some of the toxic traits, to just start off with one right now, is definitely the guy that calls her out for her ish. And unfortunately, the more toxic she is, the more that she wants you to be so aggressive, masculine, so dominant. And unfortunately, this can lead to like a lot of disrespect. Not to say you shouldn't be these things, but basically she wants to be manhandled, and this is no joke, y'all. So unfortunately, a lot of times a guy can be too soft just because he is calm, relaxed, or he can even be just a guy that doesn't basically say much. He'll walk away, or he won't shout, or he won't use like an aggressive tone. That's maybe what she wants more. Like, she basically will push you to the edge, to the extent of like she almost physically wants you to honestly do something. And I'm not talking about anything in the bedroom, y'all know what I mean, like, just the manhandle part. And I don't agree with that, but I'm just trying to say some females are so used to this toxicity and love it, and in a sense, like, legit, their brain waves get excited over it, and it's arousal in a sense. And then there's also, like, I don't know if it's a dopamine, whatever you, could be dopamine, it could be whatever, I don't know. She feels something from it that gives her a nice rush from it and satisfaction. And I think it's like almost, unfortunately, like a toxic trait, and it turns into like bonding in like a traumatic way. So trauma bonding, where like a woman will get bored when you're not not causing, but you're not entertaining and engaging in her toxicity. So she could start up a fight, and then you don't like to fight or anything, or you try to like find a way out of it, or simply like she does something you don't like and she keeps doing it. So it could be just, I don't know, maybe calling you a certain name, going to certain places, events that she shouldn't be, stuff like that. And every time she knows what's going to come out of it, but she's up for the toxicity, right? And sometimes it's just simply calling her names, like out of her name, stuff like that. Again, these are toxic traits, so it's not like I'm saying these are good things, but sometimes it's exciting for some of these women. So some of these toxic traits, once it's not happening, she will find a way for it to happen, so she can kind of get that like rush, and then things can be like so chaotic and aggressive, and then back to calm. Kind of think about like, makeup SE, y'all know the rest, right? Or the last letter in there. So when people do that makeup stuff, like, they go crazy sometimes, or it's very passionate but like aggressive. So it's kind of like that without it being that. That's kind of what I would say the best way to describe it right now, where she's looking for that feeling of it gets very hectic, gets crazy, and then there's a way to find pleasure afterwards, in a sense. Okay, and like there's pieces and feelings of pleasure in the process, or excitement, like I said earlier, but the full effect is to make it get really, really bad, and then the making up is the best part of it. Okay, now y'all, comment some toxic traits that women love to do, unfortunately, out here. Let it be known down down in the comment section. Give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget, you can join Patreon and really find out what she really wants in the bedroom. And sometimes it's some toxic, crazy, wild stuff that gets her riled up and razzled up too. But yeah, you could definitely get those exclusive, explicit content, join for free, and check out the community all in there. And yeah, and you get to be in a group chat with me and many other fellas, and we get into the details and get into the exclusive and explicit stuff that can't be on here. And my website, there's always deals going on, so definitely check out that before they end and new products get dropped. And consultations will always be available for y'all. So if you want to figure out if she is a toxic girl, let her go, or you got to move on, or maybe you just want another game plan, you want to be heard, understood, accountability partner, I'm all there for all of these things. So just check out my website and see all that's available. All right, so let's go back into basically this excitement that comes out of the toxicity. So the excitement just looks like, let's say, also on a subconscious level. I think people don't think about this enough, and I feel like over the years I've thought about it deeper and deeper, because of me being such a person that cares about mental health and understanding like how our brain works, and like being chemically imbalanced, or simply things that need to be changed, rewiring, reprogramming yourself, stuff like that. I'm very interested in, and very interested in spirituality. So I think like people's upbringing, so a woman that maybe grew up in a chaotic household, only seeing like maybe let's say a father figure, maybe a brother, maybe a cousin that's a male, uncle, basically be toxic, be the AB start of the words, I don't want to say the full word, I really don't like that word, but basically be that. And stuff like that is what the norm is for that woman. And when it becomes the norm for that woman, basically she ends up feeling like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and just let it be okay. It's normalized, it's something I've grew up around all this time, so why is it a big deal? Why is it something I need to change? So that's kind of like, I feel like, the startup. So sometimes it's really their upbringing, their childhood, and it could be one bad encounter with one bad fella that changed her whole mindset. Those good girls that really go bad because of the man that they choose, and like that man really got in her mind and she's so in love, and like she's just a whole nother person, and toxicity is all she knows. Or this guy could be very toxic and now it's in her familiarity and that's what she just knows, and it carries out. Because again, like you get used to things. Basically you have to understand things in a subconscious level, they become habits. And when you have habits, basically your body, your actions, the way you react becomes so normal. It's almost like stronger than your brain. Like you don't really even need your brain to function. Obviously we need our brain to function, but I'm saying you literally do it automatically. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like if she's reactive, or you're just like dang, I never been around a toxic woman, or I don't know why she's so toxic like this, again, do the background check. When I've talked to a lot of fellas, so many fellas tell me the type of questions that they'll ask females. So a lot of times it'll be about their upbringing, it'll be about if they did have a father figure or did have a dad around, or it'll be about like what does she do, who does she hang out around, how many male friends does she have, or where does she hang out, like if it's like certain environments, a certain city, literally down to that, because they want to get into the nitty gritty of like who is she, especially like really professional men that like want to kind of keep a certain like lifestyle and want a specific certain female around. They don't want that toxicity. Of course it ruins their peace. So it's like a lot of this you have to take into factor, because this is your life. And if you're choosing this woman just because you love her and thinking that she can change, a lot of times you will be unfortunately in for a rude awakening. Now, to kind of get into concluding this video, another thing I want you to simply understand is that it's so exciting and normal for them that it becomes fun. So like they'll literally look at like maybe a relationship that has barely any fighting, a relationship that the guy is again very calm or very nice, stuff like that, as like ew, turn off, or why is he like that, or no, I would like manhandle him, or he can't handle me, sort of thing. Or like she'll feel like she's the masculine one or the man in the relationship. So it can get to that extent. And so like you just got to really be careful who you choose. And also just remember, certain toxicity traits are just straight up toxic, so just don't engage in it. That's it for this video. I love y'all. Take care of yourselves and don't forget about the links. Bye y'all.